Hey everyone, I'm Melinda Calazzi, founder of Women Who Rock, and I am so excited to be here today with two total rock stars, Silke and Katie, the powerhouse bass player and keyboardist for Yungblud, and I know how busy you both are. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with Women Who Rock today. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having us. Yeah,
Of
excited.
course. So my first question for you is I want to know how you both fell in love with your instrument.
We moved house a lot when I was younger, and we moved into one house when I was about six, I think, where my parents found an old keyboard in the attic, and I just started playing it by ear, basically. And I ended up having lessons, but my piano teacher would always kind of get a bit annoyed at me because I would just pick up stuff by ear, and he was like, "That's great, but you've got to learn to read music, and you've got to know like what you're playing and why." And I always think that's funny because that's probably my most useful skill now that I can pick things up from listening to it rather than sort of reading. So I would say what made me fall in love with it, just kind of like getting to know it by myself. I got a few piano songbooks when I was a teenager. I don't even remember how these worked, but Stripped by Christina Aguilera.
A good
I don't know
one. Yeah.
if they were played on the piano, but they were. And Alicia Keys as well, songs in A minor. So I just wanted to play pop music,
Mm.
basically. Yeah, that's what I've always loved.
And I was always a drummer first, really. I haven't been playing bass for that long,
Wow.
but I played a bit of guitar. And I think for me, what I love about the bass is, I guess, the rhythm aspect coming from like a drumming and percussion background.
Mhm.
So I started was my little brother needed a bass player for his band, so I thought I'll try give it a go, and then it sort of stuck. And yeah, I think for me, it's the like crossover between rhythm, which I really love, and melody. Which is what I love about it.
Fantastic. Do you still play drums?
Yeah, when I can, when we're not touring, I have a little drum room back where I live in Brighton. So I try and drum as much as possible. Also, Ben Sharp on the road, our drummer, he sometimes teaches me little rudiments and things when we're on the road, which is nice.
Yeah. Was there a defining moment that you knew this was more than just a hobby for you, that music was going to be your life?
I think I decided when I was four, I think I said to my mum, I'm going to be a musician. I don't know what it was. I just knew, I guess. I never When I was four, I said I want to do a music degree. I want to be a musician, and I never changed my mind. Never thought about doing anything else.
How about you, Katie?
I reckon it was probably down to I had an amazing music teacher. I was always quite, this might sound weird, but I was always a bit like secretive. I was like wrote songs when I was a kid, like on the piano and stuff. And he was sort of one of the first people that I ever showed any of that to. And I remember I wasn't even going to do music GCSE. Not that you have to do that, but I wasn't going to do it. He said something like, if you don't pursue a career in music, you're crazy. He was amazing. Julian Smith, his name was. He went to Goldsmiths University, and that's what kind of inspired me to go there. It was the only place I wanted to go. So I reckon I was about 15 when I kind of had that turning point. And it was all because of him. He's so amazing, and he's sadly no longer here. But I always think of him, when people ask me, how did you know this was going to be your career? It was really like inspired by him.
Music teachers really have the power to change our lives. It's
Yeah.
incredible. Yeah. Well, we're women who rock. So, as you know, we are all about amplifying powerhouse women in the music industry. I'm really curious. You mentioned it a little bit, Katie, when you were starting to learn some of the albums that you were using as inspiration. But I'm really curious if you had to pick one woman in music who just has had such an impact on your career, who would it be?
I think for me, it's Courtney Barnett. So cool, and the way she plays guitar, it's completely original. And I just think she's really inspiring for me. I love her music, I love her style, and I just think she's really cool. And it's sort of, I don't know, someone I really look up to a lot.
How about for you, Katie?
I would say Christine McVie is a big one for me. I think we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? There's this documentary about her that I watched after she died. And first of all, she talks about when Stevie joined the band and they asked her if if she experienced any jealousy. And she was like, yeah, if I'm honest, for a second I did, for a hot minute. But then I quickly realized that she could no sooner play blues piano than I could be a front woman, and it's about your place in the band, and it's my job to be like part of the rhythm section. And I'd never really thought about playing keys as being more part of the rhythm section before. I find it really inspiring how she's such an amazing songwriter. She's got her own distinct voice and way of playing, and she's a real distinct presence on stage, but at the same time, she's not the front woman. So that's a big inspiration for me. And she's just an amazing person. Yeah, I couldn't recommend that documentary enough.
Mm. Awesome. So the industry has not been easy for women in music, but I think specifically even more for women instrumentalists. What challenges, if any, have you faced, and what barriers do you feel like we still need to break?
It's definitely, as much as the industry's changing and for the better, it's still very much a boys' club
Mm,
a lot of the time. And something that I always feel like is when you come into that as a woman, quite often, usually you'll be the only woman.
Mm.
It's like an extra, you don't just immediately become part of the gang. There seems to be like the shorthand between the boys in their boys' club, and then if you're a woman coming into that, it's like you have to prove yourself before you're accepted. Quite
Mm.
often, people say you used to say stuff to me, and they mean it as a compliment, but they say something like, "Oh, I thought you were going to be shit, but you're actually all right," sort of thing. I
wow.
get that a lot, or not anymore really, but I used to get that a lot, especially when I was drumming. So yeah, I think it's that you have to sort of prove yourself before being accepted a lot of the time, rather than just being automatically accepted.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's this pressure to be
Mm.
more exceptional. And I don't know, I've always like dealt with that by being like, okay, well, I'm going to be like as prepared as I can be. Like, I'm going to learn things as well as I can. And like, obviously, there's an element of that I suppose is good and is about being professional. But I do think some of it stems from that pressure when I compare that to maybe some people I've played with previously, like some guys who just clearly don't feel that pressure to be as prepared.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
I feel like I'm doing it for all the women everywhere. I have to be the best. Yeah, slowly starting to learn that I can be good and just play how I play.
yeah.
I don't have anything I don't have to have anything to prove.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think something that I feel like we've talked about before as well is like coming into groups, yeah, of men sometimes. Like I've had the experience of, I don't know, they'll say something that's like sexist,
Mhm.
and then they'll say something along the lines of, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were here." And kind of like, okay, so not only do I then have to be the person that like is on the receiving end of the sexism, but you're making me like the sexism police. And I'll just say things like, you say what you think is right. Like if you think it's okay to say that, whether I'm here, like that should be whether I'm here or not. And it's hard to be around that. And I say, oh, I respond to that by saying you do what you think is right. But I know that actually in the past, especially when I was like younger, actually I've just said nothing because it's
Yeah.
just, you already feel a bit on the back foot, you're the only one there. You don't want to be the person. I remember there's a writer called Sarah Ahmed, and she says that the person who points out the problem often becomes located as the problem. And I always think of that, and yeah, you feel like you don't want to be the person that's the problem, even though, of course, you're not. But it makes it hard to respond to things like that. I feel confident in calling things out or even calling things in.
Yeah.
Well, being where you're at now, at this incredible place in your career and the journey that has led you to this place, what advice would you give to a young artist that is just about to pick up that instrument or write that first song?
I would say, and this is really hard, but don't compare yourself to other people too much.
Mm.
Keep doing your own thing because that's the only thing that's going to set you apart is doing what you want to do. You have to, but yeah, I guess stick to it. Stay true to your own art and what you want to do. Don't try and copy someone else or because you think that's what's going to make you successful. Just stick to your own thing. Have faith in your own ability and your own taste as well. If you think it's good, chances are other people are going to think it's good. You just have to find those people. So yeah, trust in your own taste, I would say.
Awesome advice.
Don't know how to top that. For someone starting out as an artist or kind of as a musician, I go say, as a crossover. I don't know if this sounds cliche, but it's like surrounding yourself with people who are gonna boost your self-esteem rather than bringing you down, like I think in your personal life and in your work life if you can, because it kind of links into what Silke said, but like, yeah, you've just got to believing that you are worthy of being there. You know, there's a reason that you've got this job or you're playing this gig. You know, some people I think just have that confidence and don't even think about it. But if there's anything you can do to bolster that and just believe that, you know, you do have something to add, even if it's not the same
Mhm.
as what other people are bringing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, great advice. What has it been like working with Yungblud creatively?
What's great about working for him as from a session musician point of view is that he sort of lets everyone put their own twists on things. If they, he's not really strict about staying true to the record. I mean, obviously he has a vision and he wants it to sound a certain way, but he lets everyone, I think, try stuff. And if they want to add a little thing,
Mm.
then you can. He always takes everyone's opinions into account.
Yeah, it's definitely creatively fulfilling,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, which is really great.
Yeah. And yeah, he does have a vision and he has so many ideas and he has his his energy is really like unparalleled, I would say. The energy that he brings like to a rehearsal space and to a live performance, that's it's
Yeah.
really exciting
I
to
was going to
work.
say, taking the stage. I mean, his energy is just electrifying. You know, you watch these clips on social media and you almost feel like you're in the room that night. So, how do you, is a band, right? Do you have any rituals before the show? I mean, you're about to now go on to a 2026 tour, which is sold out. Congratulations. But working so closely as a unit, you know, how do you keep that energy alive every night? And then do you have any fun rituals that you all do to stay connected?
Yeah, we all do a Jaeger bomb before the show every night.
Nice. Now that's true rock and roll chaos. I love it.
And also keeps the energy up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we all get ready together.
We get ready together. There's quite often like music on.
Yeah,
People are sort of we're all like moving around, you know, as it leads up to stage time.
yeah.
Oh, we've got some secret handshakes.
Oh, yeah. We all,
Oh yeah.
we all so before we go on stage, we all do a fist bump with each other.
Yeah.
And then our photographer, Tom, has a secret handshake with everyone
Yeah.
that they do,
And
individual.
yeah,
And
if
if you
I
don't,
don't do that, I've
yeah, you sort of freak out.
yeah, I have to tell
You
everyone.
have to do everyone's
Yeah.
fist bump and Tom's secret handshake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. That's great. Thanks for sharing that. One piece of gear you can't live without on the road.
I feel like I have to say like a sort of music nerd thing now. Like this isn't related to my rig, but probably my AirPods. I
Mm.
feel like my ears like almost the entire time. It's how I can sleep on the bus, and it's how I can just quickly listen to anything.
I have this little pink Mustang bass that I don't play on stage anymore, but I think I'm always going to want to bring it on tour. I have it in the dressing room. It was like one of my first like proper bass that I bought. I did like my first shows on bass with it. I played to like three people, and then I also did my first arena tour with Dom on that bass. So it just feels like it did the whole journey with me. So I think I'm always gonna have that. I warm up on it. I learn songs on it. Yeah, that's the one for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a version of that, but it's just like a crappy little MIDI keyboard. But I do have it everywhere. I don't know, just because we'll add stuff in, you know, and so I'll like learn how to play stuff maybe like in my stuff.
Last question before we wrap. If you could sum up right now one word to describe how you feel when you're on stage with Youngblood every night, what would it be?
I would say, and I didn't always feel that way, but
Mm.
now I say I feel strong. I'm up there.
Mm.
Like confident, strong.
I would say, I mean, the lucky is the first word that comes to mind. I just feel so, or maybe grateful. I just feel really grateful that I get to do this as my job, that I get to call that work. You know, some shows are easier than others, just generally in life, and but there's never a moment like there's never a show that goes by where I don't have a moment of thinking, God, I'm so grateful that I've got this job. It's the best job in the world.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome. So, all right, so share with us what's up next, and any last thoughts that you'd like to share with our Women Who Rock audience?
well, we're in Vienna right now. aren't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Playing a show in Vienna and then going to Bergamo near Milan tomorrow. And then that's basically, we've got a couple of more things this year, but not really. And then we're going to the album tour next year, sold out in the UK and America. Yeah, big year.
Yeah, that's what's next. What's next is kind of first bit of time off that we've had for a while, I guess. So just resting. Yeah, it can be so hard to do that. I feel like we've basically been out since the beginning of August and
Yeah, 3 months.
sleeping on the bus so much. I was so tired.
I'm sure. Yeah, and that's a hard part of this to fit in self-care, and you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself on the road too. I know it can be hard, but yes, make sure you're getting as much sleep as you can and taking good care. And amazing. All right. Well, Katie and Silke, thank you so much for sharing your journey and sharing your success. And we are so excited to see you back on the road next year for your sold out tour. So thanks again for taking some time out for Women Who Rock today.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
You're so welcome. Good luck with the rest of the tour. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.